the broadcast of horrors, the exploration vessel. Pioneer drifted through the endless void of space, its sensors scanning the darkness for any sign of life beyond humanity's reach. Commander Sarah Chen stood at the observation deck, watching stars drift by like distant diamonds against black velvet. Humanity had colonized 23 worlds across the galaxy by the year 2284, but they had never encountered another intelligent species. That was about to change in ways no one could have imagined. Lieutenant Marcus Webb rushed onto the bridge with data tablets clutched in his trembling hands. His face showed a mixture of excitement and disbelief as he approached Commander Chen. The sensors had detected something extraordinary near the Vega system. It wasn't random cosmic noise or natural phenomena. The signals showed deliberate patterns, mathematical sequences, and what appeared to be a form of communication. After 300 years of searching, humanity had finally found evidence of alien intelligence. Back on Earth, Supreme Admiral David Reyes received the news with cautious optimism. The military leader had spent decades preparing for this moment, creating protocols and strategies for first contact scenarios. He immediately convened the United Earth Council, bringing together representatives from all colonized worlds through quantum communication links. President Elena Vasquez addressed the assembly with measured words, emphasizing the importance of peaceful interaction while maintaining defensive readiness. Humanity would extend the hand of friendship, but they would keep their weapons within reach. The aliens made contact 3 days later, identifying themselves as the Kralith Empire. Their massive ships emerged from hyperspace near the designated neutral zone, vessels that looked like obsidian pyramids covered in pulsing purple lights. The Kralith ambassador, a being called Overseer Thexar, appeared on humanity's screens as a tall figure with elongated limbs and skin that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Their faces had no recognizable features except for 3 glowing orbs arranged in a triangle where eyes might be. The initial negotiations took place aboard the human diplomatic station Concordia, positioned at the edge of human space. Dr. Michael Torres, Earth's leading xenobiologist, observed every movement and gesture of the Kralith delegation. The aliens moved with an unsettling grace, their bodies seeming to flow rather than walk. They communicated through a combination of harmonic tones that universal translators converted into human language. Overseer Thexar spoke of peace, mutual understanding, and the sharing of knowledge between their civilizations. For 2 weeks, the talks progressed smoothly. The Kralith shared basic information about their empire, which they claimed spanned 50 star systems with trillions of inhabitants. They expressed fascination with human art, music, and literature, requesting cultural exchanges and trade agreements. Admiral Reyes remained skeptical, noting how the aliens deflected questions about their military capabilities or the fate of other species they had encountered. But President Vasquez and the Council were swayed by the potential benefits of alliance with such an advanced civilization. Then came the request that would seal humanity's fate. Overseer Thexar proposed a simultaneous broadcast across all human and Kralith worlds to celebrate their new partnership. The alien explained it would be a demonstration of unity, showing both species the beginning of a glorious future together. The broadcast would originate from Harmony Prime, humanity's newest colony, chosen for its beauty and thriving population of 12 million souls. The aliens offered to provide the transmission technology, claiming their methods could reach every inhabited world instantly. Commander Chen watched from the Pioneer as Kralith ships positioned themselves around Harmony Prime. Something felt wrong about their formation, but she couldn't articulate her concerns to the Admiralty. The alien vessels formed a perfect geometric pattern above the planet's atmosphere, their purple lights growing brighter as the broadcast time approached. Below on the surface, colonists gathered in public squares and homes, eager to witness this historic moment of interstellar friendship. The broadcast began at precisely 1800 hours Earth Standard Time. Every human on every world watched as Overseer Thexar appeared on their screens, standing in what appeared to be the command center of his flagship. His 3 glowing orbs pulsed rhythmically as he began to speak in those haunting harmonic tones. Beings of humanity, the translation began. Today you learn your true place in the cosmic order. You exist for one purpose alone, to provide entertainment for the Kralith Empire. The scene suddenly shifted to show Harmony Prime from orbit. The beautiful blue and green world sparkled in the light of its sun, cities visible as patches of light on the night side. Then the Kralith ships began their work. Beams of sickly yellow energy lanced down from the obsidian pyramids, striking population centers with surgical precision. But these weapons didn't simply destroy buildings or infrastructure. They were designed for maximum suffering. The energy beams caused human nervous systems to overload with agony while keeping victims conscious and aware. People writhed in the streets as their bodies were slowly dissolved from the inside out, the process taking exactly 3 minutes and 17 seconds for each person. The Kralith had calculated the precise duration needed for maximum psychological impact on those watching. Parents watched their children scream in unbearable pain before dissolving into dust. Medical personnel could do nothing as their patients melted before their eyes. The cameras deployed by the Kralith captured every moment in excruciating detail. They focused on faces twisted in agony, on hands reaching desperately for loved ones, on the tears of those waiting their turn to die. The alien weapons moved methodically across Harmony Prime's surface, ensuring that those in later zones had to watch and wait, knowing their fate was sealed. Cities fell silent one by one as 12 million voices were extinguished in the most horrific way imaginable. Throughout the nightmare, the Kralith could be heard making sounds that their translators identified as laughter. Overseer Thexar provided commentary like a sports announcer, critiquing the deaths and rating them for entertainment value. He explained that the Kralith had been watching humanity for decades, studying human psychology to determine the most effective methods of causing fear and despair. They had chosen Harmony Prime specifically because it had the highest percentage of families with young children. Admiral Reyes stood frozen in the Earth Defense Command, his fists clenched so tightly that blood dripped from his palms. His own daughter had been on Harmony Prime, visiting her husband's family with their newborn son. He watched helplessly as the section of the planet where they lived was consumed by the yellow beams. President Vasquez had collapsed in her chair, tears streaming down her face as she witnessed the systematic extermination of an entire world. The broadcast continued for 7 hours, ensuring that no human anywhere could avoid seeing the complete annihilation of Harmony Prime. The Kralith cameras showed the empty cities afterward, streets covered in the gray dust that had once been living people. They showed playgrounds where children's toys lay abandoned, their owners reduced to powder blowing in the wind. They showed hospitals where doctors had died trying to save patients who were already doomed. When the last human on Harmony Prime had perished, Overseer Thexar returned to the screen. His 3 orbs glowed brighter than before, pulsing with what could only be satisfaction. "This demonstration represents 1% of our military capability," he announced. "Your species has provided adequate entertainment, and we thank you for your performance. You have 7 rotations of your Earth to surrender unconditionally to the Kralith Empire. Failure to comply will result in the systematic harvesting of all human worlds for our amusement." The transmission ended, leaving 22 human worlds in stunned silence. Then the silence shattered. Across every colony, every space station, every ship in the void, a sound rose that had never been heard on such a scale. It was the roar of 13 billion humans crying out for vengeance. The Kralith had made a fundamental error in their calculations. They had studied human psychology, but they had failed to understand human nature. They had awakened something primal and terrible. Humanity's Reckoning President Elena Vasquez stood before the emergency assembly 6 hours after the broadcast ended. Her tears had dried, replaced by an expression of cold determination that made even hardened military officials step back. When she spoke, her voice carried across every human world with crystal clarity. The Kralith Empire has chosen war. They have chosen annihilation. Today, humanity becomes death itself. We will not stop until every last Kralith in existence has paid for Harmony Prime. The transformation of human society happened with stunning speed. Within 24 hours, every manufacturing facility had been converted to military production. Children's toy factories now produced ammunition. Hospitals became research centers for biological weapons. Artists became propaganda specialists. Teachers became drill instructors. The entire human civilization reorganized itself around a single purpose: the complete extermination of the Kralith Empire. Admiral Reyes took command of Operation Nemesis, humanity's response to the massacre. He established his headquarters on Mars, where the Red Planet's underground cities had been transformed into massive military complexes. His first priority was intelligence gathering. If humanity was going to destroy the Kralith, they needed to understand their enemy completely. Every piece of data from the diplomatic meetings was analyzed. Every frame of the broadcast was studied. Every word Overseer Thexar had spoken was dissected for useful information. Dr. Rachel Kim, a quantum physicist who had lost her entire family on Harmony Prime, made the first breakthrough. The Kralith's weapon signatures revealed a critical weakness in their technology. Their ships and weapons operated on a specific quantum frequency that made them incredibly powerful, but also incredibly vulnerable to disruption. If humans could generate an inverse frequency field, it would cause their technology to collapse at the molecular level. Kim worked without sleep for 96 hours straight, driven by grief and rage to perfect the weapon design. Captain Thomas Jackson led the reconnaissance mission into Kralith space. His stealth ship, Phantom, slipped past their border defenses using new cloaking technology developed specifically to counter Kralith sensors. What he discovered changed everything. The Kralith Empire was built entirely on conquest and entertainment. They had destroyed hundreds of species over millennia, broadcasting each extinction as entertainment for their population. Massive arena worlds existed where captured beings were forced to fight and die for Kralith amusement. The intelligence Jackson gathered revealed something else crucial. The Kralith population was much smaller than they had claimed. Instead of trillions, they numbered only in the billions, concentrated on 12 core worlds. They relied entirely on their advanced technology and psychological warfare to maintain control. They had never faced a species that responded to their broadcasts with unified rage rather than paralyzed fear. Their entire society was structured around the assumption that their victims would be too terrified to fight back effectively. 3 months after Harmony Prime, humanity struck back. The attack came simultaneously across all Kralith frontier worlds. Human ships modified with Dr. Kim's quantum disruptors emerged from hyperspace in perfect coordination. The Kralith's supposedly invincible shields flickered and died as the inverse frequency weapons activated. Their weapon systems failed. Their communications went silent. For the first time in their history, the Kralith were defenseless. The human forces showed no mercy. They had studied the broadcasts of Harmony Prime, memorizing every scream, every plea for mercy that had been ignored. Now it was the Kralith's turn to experience fear. Human ground forces wearing powered armor designed specifically to counter Kralith physiology stormed their cities. The aliens, who had never experienced personal combat, fled in terror from beings they had considered inferior prey. Commander Chen led the assault on the Kralith entertainment world of Vexthan, where millions of aliens gathered to watch broadcasts of suffering. Her forces surrounded the massive viewing complexes and sealed all exits. Then they played the Harmony Prime broadcast on every screen, forcing the Kralith to watch what they had done. When the broadcast ended, Chen's forces moved in. The Kralith learned that humans could be creative in their vengeance. The Psychological Warfare Division, led by Colonel Maria Santos, targeted Kralith communication networks. They flooded their systems with images and sounds designed to trigger primal fear in the Kralith nervous system. The aliens, who had spent millennia as apex predators, suddenly found themselves unable to sleep, eat, or function as their own technology was turned against them. Their society began to collapse from within as panic spread through their population. Admiral Reyes personally led the fleet to Kralith Prime, their homeworld, and the center of their empire. The planet was protected by thousands of automated defense platforms and a shield system they claimed was impenetrable. But humans had learned to be thorough in their preparation. Suicide drones, piloted by volunteers who had lost everything on Harmony Prime, crashed into the shield generators with quantum disruptor warheads. The shields fell in a cascade of purple fire. The siege of Kralith Prime lasted exactly 7 days, the same duration as the deadline they had given humanity. Each day, human forces systematically destroyed 1/7 of the planet's infrastructure. They targeted military installations, government buildings, and the massive entertainment complexes where Kralith citizens had watched countless species die. But humans didn't target civilians directly. Instead, they forced them to experience what their victims had felt: helplessness, fear, and the knowledge that their civilization was ending. Overseer Thexar was captured on the 6th day, found hiding in an underground bunker beneath the capital city. Admiral Reyes had him brought to the command ship and placed in a transparent cell, where all human forces could see him. The alien who had laughed while 12 million humans died now cowered in the corner, his 3 orbs dim with terror. He begged for mercy, claiming he was just following orders, that it wasn't personal, that humans didn't understand Kralith culture. The trial of Overseer Thexar was broadcast to every remaining Kralith and all human worlds. Survivors from Harmony Prime testified via quantum communication, describing their final moments with loved ones before the massacre. Military analysts presented evidence of the hundreds of species the Kralith had exterminated for entertainment. The verdict was unanimous: guilty of genocide with no possibility of mercy. On the 7th day, humanity delivered its final message to the galaxy. President Vasquez, flanked by Admiral Reyes and the United Human Military Command, addressed not just the Kralith, but any other species that might be watching. The Kralith Empire ends today. Let this be a warning to any who would threaten humanity. We came to the stars seeking friends and knowledge. But those who mistake our desire for peace as weakness will learn the truth. Humanity can be the greatest friend or the most terrible enemy. Choose wisely. The remaining Kralith worlds were given a choice: complete surrender and dissolution of their empire, or face the same fate as Harmony Prime. Within hours, every Kralith world had surrendered unconditionally. Their weapons were destroyed, their ships scrapped, their technology dismantled. The species that had terrorized the galaxy for millennia was reduced to a handful of monitored colonies, where they would never again have the power to hurt anyone. Humanity emerged from the war changed. They had learned they were capable of terrible things when pushed too far. But they had also learned they could stand united against any threat. The galaxy had watched humanity suffer the loss of Harmony Prime. Now it had witnessed humanity's wrath. The message was clear to all who could hear it. Humanity would explore the stars with open hands and open hearts. But those hands could become fists and those hearts could turn to iron when necessary. The memorial for Harmony Prime was built on Earth's moon, visible from the planet's surface. 12 million lights, one for each soul lost, would burn forever as a reminder. Below the memorial, inscribed in every human language and in the languages of every peaceful species humanity would meet, were simple words. They died so we could learn. We learned so others might live. Never again,